Hi, sixth grade math students. So we are going to be filling out the last blank that we left open and then filling out the example problem on the dividing fractions tab in your fractions booklet. So please open up to the last page in there. And remember I said we were kind of looking at the basics of dividing fractions first, and then we were going to go back and kind of work our way up. So this down here is showing dividing mixed numbers, and that's kind of the last step in learning how to divide fractions. So we're going to fill out these two blanks here, and then we're going to do the example problem and then do some example problems in your book. When you are dividing mixed numbers, you have to rewrite the mixed numbers as improper fractions. So rewrite the mixed numbers as improper fractions. So let's do that first down here. Remember, when we are changing a mixed number to an improper fraction to a mixed number, you have to multiply your denominator by your big number and add your numerator to that total. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. Your new fraction becomes 19 fourths. And then I'm going to change this one over here, and I'm going to rewrite it over here. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So this becomes 4 thirds. Okay, so I'll rewrite it over here. We changed each of these mixed numbers to an improper fraction. Now what we can do is flip our sign and flip our second fraction, just like we would normally, now that they're in terms that we can kind of figure out, and then we multiply straight across. Now I can't divide ahead of time, so these are going to be a little tricky. So I know 19 plus 19 is 38, so 38 plus another 19, 17 is 57. So this becomes 57 over 16. And then when we pull that out, I know 16 plus 16 is 32, which is 2 groups of 16 that I could pull out, but I can at least pull one more. 32 plus 16 is 48, so that's probably all I can pull out. So 48, the difference between 48 and 57 is 9. Okay, so I have 3 and 9 sixteenths as my answer. And sorry, I'm not using the best color marker here, so I will zoom in a little and you can pause. The biggest thing to remember when you're multiplying a mix or dividing a mixed number is just change them into improper fractions and then continue with the dividing that you know. Flip your sign, flip your second fraction. Flip your sign, flip your second fraction. Okay, so then the rest of these steps will stay the same. Okay, so if you need to pause this here, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to move into your book. Page 326 is what we are going to be working on in your book. So page 326, we have some problems down at the bottom in the Got It section that we're going to solve as some practice here. So we have, focus a little, letter A, 2 3/8 divided by 1/4. So we have to change this mixed number to an improper fraction. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So we have 19 thirds, and then flip your sign and flip your second fraction. Now, a lot with these 19s. So we know, going off of this problem here, 3 groups of 19 is 57. So if I add another 19 to that, I can probably pull 76. So we get 76 over 3. Now let's do 3 and 276 and go twice. 6, 16, 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 1. Okay, so we can pull out 25, and we have 1/3 left over. So our answer would be 25 and 1/3. Okay, let's look at letter B. Change the mixed number to an improper fraction, and then flip your sign, flip your second fraction. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5, so 5 halves times 7/3. Can't simplify ahead of time, so I just multiply straight across. 5 times 7 is 35. 2 times 3 is 6. I can do 5 and 5, 6, because I know 6 times 6 is 36. We're just missing 1. So I know I'm just missing 1 to have a whole number of 6. So 5 and 5, 6 would be my answer for B. Now letter C, you have 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 5 is 45 eighths times 4 thirds. Flipped my sign, flipped my second fraction. Here we can simplify ahead of time. 4 and 8, divide each of them by 4. This becomes 1, this becomes 2. And actually 3 and 45 can actually be simplified ahead of time. Divide each of these by 3. That becomes a 1, and this becomes a 15. So now you're left with 15 times 1 is 15 over 2 times 1 is 2. So we have 7 and 1/2 is our answer. Now on the next page, page 327, we have problems that have two mixed numbers. So let's try that. Or I see a whole number in there. 5 times 4, again, we have to change these to an improper fraction. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 1 is 21. So 21 fifths. Flip my sign. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So it's normally 7 thirds. But now I have to flip my second fraction. So I have 3 sevenths. I can actually simplify these two ahead of time. Divide each of them by 7. Get 1. Get 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 1 is 5. Pull that out, and I get 1 and 4 fifths is my answer. Again, this is showing a whole number. We just have to put our whole number over 1. We flip our sign, and then this would be 5/2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. But flip it, and I get 2 fifths. 16 over 5 becomes, let's see, I can pull 5 out 3 times, which gives me 15, and I have 1/5 left over. And let's do letter F, okay? Change those mixed numbers to improper fraction. What I'm going to have you do is actually solve this one on your own right now. Pause the video, and then start playing the video again when you are done solving it to check your answer. All right, let's solve it. So change our mixed number to an improper fraction. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. This becomes 14 over 9. I'm going to flip my sign, flip my second fraction, but I have to change it to an improper fraction first. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So this is 7 thirds normally. But now when I have to flip it, I get 3 sevenths. We can actually simplify this ahead of time. So I'm going to divide each of these by 7. I get a 1 and a 2. Divide each of these by 3. Get a 1 and a 3. And I have 2 times 1 is 2 over 3 times 1 is 3. 2 thirds is my answer. Okay, if you have any more questions on this, please reach out to me. Please watch the video again. Maybe watching it a second time will help you understand it a little bit more. Otherwise, your homework for tonight is actually going to be on the guided practice. We haven't done homework on this section before. Normally, we just do practice problems on this, but you're going to be doing problems 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, page 328, problems 1 through 5. Now, remember when I talked about it in dividing decimals and then also earlier in the dividing fractions unit last week, I talked about it's kind of tricky to figure out what number is dividing into what. Change these to easy numbers, or you know what, here, change this to a 28 and this to a 4, just to kind of figure out how you would divide it, because you know the answer to 28 divided by 4. What would be the answer to that? Okay, then figure out which order you are putting them in. Plug these fractions back into your problem once you've kind of changed them to easier numbers, and then divide. Same thing with this. Change them to easier numbers if you need to kind of figure out what you would do if they were easy numbers and how to solve that problem, and then substitute those fractions back in once you know which spot the 16.5 goes in, the first number or the second number. Okay? Otherwise, let me know if you have questions. Good luck.